What if Gallade was in Gen 1 OU? I don't know why I haven't thought of this yet. A psychic fighting type? Are you kidding me? That alone is incredibly interesting. But what makes it better is that Gallade has pretty good stats. Even if we say it has a special of 65 instead of 115, I would still argue that this Pokemon would be excellent. Actually, I think that's kind of mandatory. If this guy had base 125 attack and base 115 special, that would be insanely overpowered. Because he has great coverage on both the physical and special side. So yeah, like he kind of needs to be a little bit weaker in order to be playable. But playable he absolutely is. There is nothing that he really lacks at. A great attack, pretty good speed, like, you know, you wish you were faster than at least Jinx, but you're definitely grateful for being faster than Cloyster. And just overall, like, there's nothing I can really complain about. And his move pool is even better. Same thing with the typing. Because, yeah, you have the fighting type. We all know how fighting types are in Gen 1. But the psychic type fixes most of it. Like, you're still weak to Zapdos' Drill Pack. And that sucks. But not being weak to psychic? Yeah, that's pretty good. And as for that move pool, we have everything you could ever want on both the physical and special side. We have Body Slam, Double Edge, Earthquake, Fire Punch, Ice Punch. We have Light Screen, Low Kick, Thunder Wave, Thunder Bolt, Sword Stance, Stab Psychic, Rock Slide. It's Hyper Beam, Sword Stance, and I'm sure he has Slash as well. Let me check. If he doesn't have Slash, I'll be surprised. Yeah, he does have Slash. Personally, I didn't use Slash with my replays. Mostly because, like, well, for the most part, he didn't need it. But it's definitely something you consider. So, like, what are Gallade's weaknesses? Because it seems like he has everything taken care of. And even that 65 special, I've gone over a few Pokemon with 65 special in the past, and most notably, it's only like a little bit weaker than Tauros' special. So even that's not really that bad. The only thing that Gallade suffers from is 4 move slot syndrome. And unfortunately, because of like the wide variety of moves you can use, that pretty much makes or breaks literally all of his matchups. You can have, you know, like a good like mix attacking like special set with Psychic and then like Bolt Beam, and like that's nice. But then obviously this gets walled by like a Psychic type. Not to mention Gallade's most important move by far, Hypnosis. Yeah, this is already like, you can already tell just how dangerous this is. You have a much faster Pokemon than like Executor that has dual status. But man, if only he had a better sweep move. Because it's Gen 1, Hypnosis is still absolutely worth it. But this is yet another example of like just every single matchup Gallade has being make or break. I would argue Hypnosis is probably the one move you have no matter what. Whether you're using a physical attacking set, or if you're using like a mixed attacker. Hypnosis will probably always be there. But either way, it's just amazing. But also like completely terrible at the same time. Gallade he will lose a lot of matchups because he'll miss Hypnosis, but just as many he'll be able to win. At the same time, just as many times, just the threat of Hypnosis, or Thunder Wave, or Sword Stance, or good like special coverage will be enough to force Pokemon out. So, I'm gonna say that Gallade would be excellent, and I might even go as far to say he would be the best Psychic type. It might be going a little too far, but just how wide a variety he has, what reason would you have not to use one? Whatever you need, he can fulfill. So let's say you just need like more statuses. He makes for a great dual status Pokemon. You need a physical attacker, he's got that. Sword Sand Sweeper also has that. If you just need a Pokemon with some nice like coverage that your team doesn't handle, even though base 65 Ice Punch isn't the most powerful thing in the world, it's still like something you can use. Not to mention, like any Pokemon that might be able to, or like get a freeze is always appreciated. And it works even better when some Pokemon like Chansey, it works so much better when you can Sword Stance or just hit a super effective flow kick. There's so much potential there. So you can disagree with me, but I think GALLADE easily makes it into the top 4. Now as for replays, some Pokemon, regardless of the coverage, he kind of struggles against. Just a single Body Slam and a Hyper Beam is enough to kill GALLADE. But at the same time, GALLADE, if he gets a Hypnosis off, that pretty much dooms Tauros. Same thing if he just paralyzes Tauros. So, like, it's Tauros, so you can't be too surprised that no matter what Pokemon he faces, he can hold his own. But maybe that's still a good thing. I'm not sure. And then Snorlax. This one is even more matchup reliant because both of these guys have like completely different sets. If it's Amnesialax, then obviously any special variants of GALLADE will just get completely walled. If it's Reflectalax, you would need exactly like Sword Stance GALLADE in order to take it out. So it's weird, but I wish I had more to say about it, but it really just depends on the matchup. Obviously, GALLADE probably wins in more matchups. However, you really don't know who's going to win until you actually see the movesets for both of them. And then with Chansey, there's not much to say here. I think regardless of the set, as long as Chansey has Hypnosis, or as long as GALLADE has Hypnosis, it's always going to be a one-sided matchup. And I apologize, I'm trying to work better on talking slower. So, sorry if I keep going, super quickly. As for Alakazam, this one, special variants of GALLADE just fall apart really easily, but Hypnosis is always nice, and it's also nice knowing that you don't just have to like paralyze it in return. Something like Sword Stance with other physical moves like Slash or Hyper Beam can seriously threaten Alakazam. Granted, keep in mind, GALLADE would not have 115 special defense, so in an actual scenario, Alakazam should be hitting a lot harder, which could potentially make or break the matchup. And then with Exeggutor, it doesn't really care too much about Ice Punch. And look at that, that's a critical, and even that's just a 3-hit KO. So even though GALLADE can put Exeggutor to sleep, Exeggutor could very well get some chances to wake up and get some damage in. Maybe I should have put Slash on the moveset here, but even then, I'm pretty sure it wouldn't have changed much. It just would have put Exeggutor into the red. Or I could be wrong, who knows. Either way, it's another could go either way. I'll just spoil you now, almost all of these will be. Because if GALLADE has the perfect coverage, he can do pretty good. Granted, with special coverage against those Pokemon, it's not like even there here you see like Thunderbolt is a 3-hit KO on Cloyster, which can sort of suck when Cloyster can go boom. Also, I can't be the only one that thinks GALLADE's sprite here looks really weird. Wait, am I the only one that thinks his arms look weird here? Like, you guys go admit what you think. I might just be looking at it for too long. Then with Gengar, honestly, this one doesn't seem that bad. I would imagine Earthquake would be an extremely rare move on GALLADE that you would only use for like, really just for Gengar exactly. And if that's the case, Gengar, I don't want to say I would still call it could go either way, but Gengar being the faster sweep setter and having Explosion can definitely threaten GALLADE. And as you saw there, Psychic's only a 3-hit KO. So he's got some stuff going for him. And then Zapdos does so much damage to Gallade, to where your only hope is Hypnosis exactly. So I will warn you, I'm pretty sure Gallade does win in this particular matchup. But overall, it's just a bad matchup for Gallade. Because Dropkick just hits way too hard. And you need to get lucky with Sleep exactly. And if you need Hypnosis just to stand a chance, yeah, you're gonna lose a lot. You most certainly are. And then Jinx is another Pokemon that has a really good matchup, considering it's faster and has a more accurate sweep move. Meaning that Jinx can just, get a whole bunch of free Psychics up, and then Gallade just can't really do it. Can't do anything about it, I mean. So, I would consider this a good thing, because I feel like Gallade would be a little too OP if he can also take on Jinx as well. So having faster Psychic types be able to potentially put it in check, as well as potentially Ride on. As you see there, Ice Punch does not do as much as you would think it would be. I think that's like a 3-hit KO. Meanwhile, Rhydon's Earthquake is a 2-hit KO. Definitely not what I was expecting. However, keep in mind, Gallade can still get some Sword Stance up with like Low Kick or Earthquake, or concerning his base 80 speed, he can just crit. So I wouldn't call it a bad matchup, especially since Rhydon will be up super weak if he ends up winning the exchange. And then with Slowbro, you need Hypnosis exactly to stand a chance. It doesn't matter if you have Thunderbolt or if you use like Sword Stance, it's still the same thing. So even though Gallade wins pretty easily here, having to depend on Hypnosis sucks, and if something's already asleep, the matchup sucks even more. So I would just call it a bad matchup. Although luckily, because Hypnosis is Hypnosis, I don't think Gallade has a truly unwinnable matchup just because of that alone. Which, it's a little scummy, not gonna lie. But, it's still one sweet baby. What are you gonna do? And then Jolteon, I wish I had more to say. I guess for an actual, Gallade versus Jolteon matchup, Gallade would have much, lower special defense, or special. So, I would still argue it's probably could go the other way. But I would argue for an actual replay, it would go much more into Jolteon's favor. But you guys let me know what you think about that. And then, last but not least, we have Starmie. And yet another matchup where Gallade kind of needs Hypnosis to hit in order to do anything. Otherwise, Starmie can put you to sleep, out-recover you, paralyze you, or just whatever it wants. It doesn't matter what moves the Starmie has, it's always going to be in the more dominant position. So, I don't know what would be better between Slash or Thunderbolt in that situation. But I think either way, Starmie probably just has it almost every single time. Only way it doesn't is if it gets put to sleep. So, here we have the tier list. And I was going to warn you, but it is a weird one. Like, with almost everything that could go either way. If you have a good matchup, depending on what your moveset you have, I don't think anything... Honestly, I think even with the perfect moveset, depending on the Pokemon, I would argue nothing would go in great matchups either way. Which is weird, because with a tier list like this, you wouldn't think Gallade would be dominant. I think it's because of its versatility that honestly would make it super good. What do you think? Do you think I'm overhyping Gallade? Do you think he would be good, maybe even decent, not in the top 4? Or do you think that he would actually get banned because of just how many options he has? Let me know in the comments below. And until next time, this is Groundback, and I look forward to hearing from you.